What's going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. We've got an Air Force mechanic turned nerdy online entrepreneur. I love it. Looking forward to hearing Chris's story. Chris, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thank you very much, sir.
Hey, thanks for your service, first of all.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
So you were deployed a couple of times so far around the world, is that right, or around the country?
Both, yeah, around the world, definitely.
Wow. That's it really, the last couple of years, I think, have showed us, no matter what your, values or belief systems are, how important freedom is, democracy, and what we have here in America. So thanks for doing your part to
Absolutely
protect
agree.
that for us. Yep. All right, man. So yes. So you have found your way into the online world, and I guess you've gotten bit by the bug. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I got tired of just saying it's a scam or just kind of brushing through it like a lot of other people, and you know what? I just finally jumped in.
So you actually you had a pessimistic or cynic attitude towards online business and online marketers for a period of time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Legendary wasn't the first um attempt of trying to do something online and make some money. Got burned by I'd say one at least other things that I tried, and I can't get that money back, but or that time especially. But so yeah, I was definitely a little skeptical at the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
What do you think the difference is between that and this, then and now?
the number. I mean, besides all the stuff that's offered, the community is what really drew me in. I kind of got. I kept seeing a friend of mine's posts about um, him getting started. He's still working, but making some money online, and he was one of my first troops in the military. And
Mm.
yeah, I actually know that person in real life,
Mm.
so I know we're both ex-military and all that stuff. So I kind of reached out to him and asked the question, "Hey, is it what the hype is about, or is it a
Mhm.
scam?" Kind of
Mhm.
thing, and he opened my eyes, and it's been an adventure after that, after that, to say the least.
So when was that?
At the end of the summer, so May, yeah, very end of May.
Okay. Okay. Um, so now you find yourself on the other side of things, actually going through some training.
Hmm.
I would assume having your perception or your understanding of what's possible of you know um, the difference between leverage, kind of like how it talks about in Rich Dad Poor Dad, kind of trading time for money, or that employed or self-employed, to then that business owner and investor, right? Kind of
Yes.
understanding the difference. What has been some of the biggest aha moments? And of course, I mentioned there the mindset stuff and kind of how you see the world and yourself in it and money being made. But I mean, what have been your big aha moments that have convinced you and got you excited about this business?
Well, you mentioned the Rich Dad Poor Dad. I have never been a book like a book reader. So
Mm.
I definitely right now I'm an all audio book, but listening to that book every day on my 50-minute drive to work each way, kind of blaze through the book, but just kind of slapped me in the face with the way I was brought up.
Mm.
Just work until you die, or work, make somebody else successful by giving your, 120 some odd hours every paycheck to somebody else. So that book and doing the training at the same time, just, I mean, it flipped my life upside down, but in a good way. It just, my whole family is factory workers, every single one
Yeah.
of them, and I'm still in that portion of it, but I'm I'm going to get escape that lifestyle, and I'd like to be the first one in my family to do something like that. So
Yeah, that's fascinating. There's been a huge celebration for so many decades, at least as long as I've been alive, that I'm the first person in my family to go to college. And that's been the thing that's sort of been celebrated. So it's like, for many people, it's, well, my family members um, didn't pay a lot of money to work for somebody else their entire life. They just did it without a college education. I got a college education, so I paid tens of thousands of dollars to work the rest of my life, right?
yeah,
To essentially become an order taker. And you mentioned factory worker. I think for a lot of people in Indiana and in the upper Midwest, right,
yep,
where
yep,
a
it's
lot of
huge.
the car factories and
Yeah, that's where I was. It's
right,
huge.
exactly. I mean, Michigan and Indiana
Mhm.
and so forth, Wisconsin. That's well, and I would assume a lot of that is because it's so cold for a certain part of the year that
Yeah,
it
it's not
makes
great.
sense to be inside of a building working. And if you can develop a workforce and put them inside of a factory, and that was very intelligent for Henry Ford or whoever started. I don't know the history of those kind of car companies and
Yeah.
stuff, but to say, hey, look, there's probably a bunch of people up here, a large labor force. It's cold a lot of the year. They're looking for work. They can't,
Mhm.
particularly mow lawns and do landscaping. Let's put them inside of a factory and have them build cars or have them build equipment and stuff like that. But I digress back to my point of the celebration sort of shifting to me being the first person in my family to successfully run a business, to become an entrepreneur.
Yep.
And that's what I just heard you say. Am I
That's
right
it.
about that? And
That's it.
what how might that shift and change future generations in your family?
So I have an 11-year-old son who's almost 12, and as actually when I was going through the 15-day challenge, um, it's kind of like dragging his feet, but I drug him in my office, and I had him sit through some of the videos and the training and stuff, especially listening to the rich dad poor dad mindset, just something I wish that my parents could have done for me.
Mm,
And they didn't know better, but I don't want to repeat that cycle. So I know he's going to have even more opportunity than we have right now. So
mhm.
I don't want him to think that the factory life and all that is already set up for him. I wanted him to know that there are thousands of other opportunities online to be successful. And so I sat him down. He rolled his eyes a little bit at first, and he liked it. I didn't make him go through all 15 days. He's not a
Yeah.
he
Well,
doesn't
if a
have a business,
12-year-old's
but
not rolling his eyes a little bit, something might be wrong. I mean,
yeah,
he should be
that's what
rolling
he
his
said.
eyes a little bit,
Yeah, yeah,
Um, that's great, man. And there's been a bit of a theme this week, starting with Papa Don at the beginning of the week, 78-year-old gentleman who was kind of introducing his grandchildren or grandson to online marketing. And one thing that I think about is also the fact that I really don't know what the next 5 or 10 years or 20 years when your children are going to be, and my littlest ones are going to be kind of going into the quote unquote workforce. But hell, I mean, if it's anything like the last year and a half, the labor slash, just that brick and mortar workforce is going to be drastically different and or affected, but most of all vulnerable, right?
yeah,
Because I mean, whether it be just a virus that wipes across the world and it's an innocent accident, or as you know, with a military mind, whether there's some biochemical sort of warfare that begins to happen, or something happens, many of us who were positioned to be able to work from home, work with a computer, work inside the safety of our home throughout 2020, 2021, had some of the best years that we've ever had, and it's interesting, right? So what's coming up for you as you think about that?
So, I mean, I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt a little bit during the shutdown last year. I worked a little bit of it, but even my auto manufacturing job, we shut down for 2 months, and that was when I was still in the skeptic phase, and I just kind of kicked myself in the butt at that now, thinking, man, I wish I would have known then what I know now and I get started then. But yeah, I mean, because I still have a 9 to 5, and because I got a family, and I'm working on growing my reach and helping people and everything. But I see it every day in my current job. We're hurting for people. We're hurting for people, and I'm kind of in a pickle where in the back of my head when they're talking about we're short on people, and I'm thinking, yeah, because they can make money at home, they can be online. They can be online if they know anything about what is in my mind right now or what I've been shown and woken up to. Like, there's no wonder. I'm not surprised that I can't get people to slave away in here, especially on weekends and stuff.
Well,
so I'm kind of in a pickle there.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing is that this has been going on for a year and a half. Okay. So during that year and a half, people's habits have actually changed. They've got, and I've seen it, the behavior shift in people not wanting to come out of their house,
right,
like they used to. Okay.
Yeah.
And some of us think, well, it's just because there's variants and still a virus that's going around. But what's happened is people have actually shifted. People have adapted the same way that they've adapted. And I want everybody to really listen to this, because as much as we're all waiting for it to go back to normal, the truth of the matter is what's right now is the new normal.
It's normal, yeah.
This is normal. There is no whatever is happening in this moment is the new normal. And I believe that people have shifted to being more comfortable in whether it's just they've adapted and now that is comfortable to them. They figured out ways to be happy at home, whereas before they wanted to take vacations, and we figured out ways to be happy. We figured out ways to be fulfilled. We figured out ways. We've either gotten divorces or we've gotten closer to our spouses. Right? We've adapted, because that's what human beings do. So the thing is that I like to sometimes shout from the rooftops, and I've always done this. It's been for different reasons over the past 10 years. But right now, my reason for shouting for the rooftops for people to get serious is because this is the new normal, and people are at home. They're staying home. They're figuring out ways to stay at home. And some people have said, well, it's because they're getting a government check. You just said, well, it's because they're figuring out Who cares? It doesn't matter. The truth is that they're sitting at home and they're either figuring out ways to make money at home online, or they want to figure out ways. And they're also shopping from home. They're on their computer more often. And all industries, you and Matt were talking about the furniture, how things have slowed down. All industry has been affected, and prices have gone up, not particularly just because of quote unquote inflation. Prices have gone up in many reasons because there's been more of a demand, because now people are at home shopping on the computer and looking around at their house and shopping and saying, I want a new couch, or I want it. Whereas before they weren't paying attention to that stuff as much. But now, because they're at home every day, they say, well, if I got to look at this couch every day, it might as well be a nice couch, so I'm going to order one. That's what's happening, I believe.
It is true.
Right?
It is true. I deal with it in the auto industry. they're the computer chip shortage because everybody's buying new computers and
Yeah.
they're trying to upgrade their stuff because they're going to be at home.
Yeah.
They're either working
Yes.
and they realize their old TV or their old computer wasn't cutting it if they're going to be there every day. So
Yes.
yeah, I see it.
Yeah. 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 So there's an urgency, and for me, that's why I always try to find urgency in what I'm doing, because uh, there's you know you got to attack it now. You can't put it off, and you've got to find urgency to create that motivation for you to do it now. And for me, I want to create urgency in others, right? As a marketer and as a leader of a company, I want to create urgency for our team members to do stuff now, to get better now, to grow now. As a marketer, I want to create urgency for people to buy now, to convert now, to believe now, to see why now. Today's the time to buy. Today's the time to take action. And what I'm laying out for you, but also for everybody here, of course, my opinion is there's urgency. This is the urgency. It's not going back. Your job's not coming back. It's not going back to the way it was. If anything, we're at the very beginning of a massive shift in all of the technology that was already on the kind of brink is being drastically sped up right now to where we can get to. And I was just reading something from a really successful person in the health niche who said within a couple of years, and they were talking about gyms because they marketed specifically to gyms and helping people grow their gyms. But they said this is a dying thing. I mean, this is a dying thing. The home gym is a dying thing. Companies like Peloton are exponentially growing because they've got equipment. They can acquire customers for free because there's profit. There's subscription services. People feel like there's community, and before you know it, there's going to be virtual reality that you're going to be able to put on a set of glasses and literally look to your right and see your best friend or see the person that you ride with every day, them on their bike as you're in your garage alone. And that technology will be here before you know it.
Yeah, it's an exciting, scary thought.
It
Yeah,
is.
you got to think of it like a chess board. I guess you got to be planning ahead. That's how I've been trying to look at it. Just trying to be a couple moves ahead of where everybody's expecting me or expecting the community around this area to be. So
well,
it's
in a
time.
sense, you almost got to detach from your community while still being connected to your community.
Right.
For me, it's been a balancing act of staying connected to my community. And my communities are rather thriving, progressive in terms of like technology and building and so forth. I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida, and
Yeah,
we're, it's a growing city, man. I mean, there's buildings and apartments and things being built, and there's lots of different people from all walks of life, all viewpoints and beliefs. It's kind of like a melting pot. But still, there is a majority who are just living life based on what they see kind of in the here and now, and not like what you just said, thinking about where the puck is going. And so there's an element that I've always had to sort of, detach from that so I can get connected to my online people and my online vision and where I'm building my business, which is global, yet still stay connected with friends and family locally. And in some respects, that means I need to cut out some things or even cut out some people. I don't want to cut out everybody. I don't want to become a hermit and ignore my friends and family and all that. But I would assume that transformation has happened for you to where you're starting to see the world as your global playground, your global marketplace, rather than just your local city as the tip of the iceberg. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned at the beginning about the community, I mean, the people that I would have never met or ever known about online that I've met and I actually talk to on a daily basis. that are from this from Legendary or just being on TikTok or other social platforms trying to make a name for themselves or escape their their story also like mine. But like, I mean, I talk and compare notes and everything with these people more
Yeah.
than my neighbors that live across the street. It's strong. I feel like it's a stronger bond with the community and the friends that I've made and since I started here.
Yeah. Tell me about the Nerdspeed thing and how you've developed sort of this what I would consider here a brand. I would assume that's sort of where you're going with that.
Yep.
Talk to us about that a little bit and how you've been developing your kind of message, so you can create your marketing content and build an audience.
So the name, I mean, I guess it's always been there, but growing up, I was always the nerdy kid in my family. No one else. I mean, played video games, loved Star Wars and Marvel and all that stuff. But around a lot of it's in Indiana, so I was around a lot of farmers. So I got called a nerd a lot, and when I started getting into computers and everything, my whole family, none of them know anything really about computers, so they're like, "Hey, I need you to fix this. What the heck is this thing doing? It's making funny noises." And I was able to fix it. So it was one of those things that kind of stuck where I'm the nerd and they expect me to get it done quick and fix it quick. So it just kind of light bulb, right? And it just fits. It fits me. People that know me, yeah, it fits me.
Now, was that nerd something that kind of nerdy, whether people labeled you that said thing, was that something that growing up was kind of labeled negatively or communicated negatively to you? And have you taken that and turned that sort of into a strength? I always say turn your message to your message. Was that something that you felt insecure about growing up, and now you flipped the script on that a little bit, or did you always embrace that role?
I mean, it's both. I mean, go in high school and stuff. Yeah, I had a select few group of friends that were into the same stuff as I was, and building computers and taking them apart and seeing what they're made of. So that's like a strange thing. When I was in high school, I feel old now, but I'm 35, so that's back when building computers was kind of a strange thing, and
Yeah.
I was getting into it early, and it was good and bad, but it never really phased me where like I don't want to be I don't want to be in tech stuff, or
Yeah.
I don't want to tell people that I build computers or that I like all that stuff. I just kind of from high school on just kind of owned it, and then I got into the military, and I get into like I want to say a grease monkey kind of job where I'm working with my hands and getting dirty and stuff, but I'm also a nerd, so they go back and forth with that too.
Yeah.
You're nerdy and stuff, but it kind of plays out because now they're coming to me for the computer stuff, and hey, what's the
Yeah.
next kind of crypto stuff and all that. So it's kind of played into my strengths.
Yeah, yeah, you've used it. You've turned that into well, if you want to call it a struggle. I respect the fact that you don't consider it or really didn't ever take it on as a struggle. I'm sure at some times there was people that were negative about.
Yeah, they tried.
Yeah, they tried, right? But they
Mm-hmm.
didn't phase you. Well, for me, the example of that turning that mess into a message and those struggles into strengths is of course my addiction and my high school dropout scenario, and the things that happened in my teens and 20s, to where most people would be like, this is embarrassing, this is a struggle, and it was at that time. um but I turned that struggle into a strength, and I used that as sort of the low point of my heroic story, my comeback story. And the reason why I asked you that about the nerd piece, whether that was something that was a struggle for you or like you got made fun of or whatever in high school, was because I want everybody who's listening to realize that the thing that you've been hiding your whole life, or the thing that you've been even ashamed of, or the thing that maybe others labeled you and made fun of you for, is literally the very thing that can make you rich as a marketer. Because every great marketer and every great brand has a powerful hero's journey, and part of that hero's journey is, of course, there's got to be a low point. And I talk about this in our training, and it's a big part of everything that you see here at Legendary, is people learning how to use various parts of their life, particularly those low moments or those embarrassing labels or those embarrassing times or those traumatic or dramatic times, and using that as your low point in your hero's journey, because human beings love a heroic journey. Every movie has a hero. Every story has a hero. Every book has a hero. And most of the time, right, there's been thousands, if not millions, of books and movies created. It's not superheroes. It's regular people. Superheroes are only a small percentage of books and movies and stories that have been told. It's regular people, usually, who are the hero of the story. Why? Because we can relate to them, right? We can relate to them. You know, you look at Harry Potter as one of the best examples. It's just an average kid. That's why people gravitated to him so much, who lived an adventure and was a hero in various different situations, saving people and doing things. Now, there was a mystical element to that, but there's all kinds. Look at Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. You know, she kind of, I'm thinking of that because I saw her original slippers last week in DC at the Smithsonian, the 1939.
Awesome.
But anyways, everybody is used to and celebrates a regular average person who overcame something challenging to now live in their glory or have accomplished something. And so I just ask all of you who are kind of having a challenge with finding your message, telling your story, and using that story as your brand story, developing that hero's journey story, to lean into whatever you may have seen as a struggle or the thing that you don't want to talk about. That's another sure sign that that's the juicy part of the story, is if you don't want to talk about that. So let's talk about your content creation a bit before we bring this in for a landing. You've been creating TikTok. Is that the only place you've been marketing at?
I started there, and I kind of just slowly getting into Instagram, and I don't know if I'll be able to figure out Pinterest, but I'm sure not going to give up, but I'm gonna try. But just TikTok at right now is the biggest platform where I can try to reach people that, because like myself, just scrolling, it's not real, or it's a scam, and hopefully I know how I felt when the aha moment. I'm just trying to build essentially from scratch to try to, in hopes to do that for somebody else, like flip them from thinking it's a scam to changing their lives. That's really what I'm trying to do. Is I love the feeling, like what I have and what I've gotten from this. So I'm trying to just slowly build it, because like I said, I have a job still, and raising a family and everything. So I'm trying to slowly grow to do that for other people. I think it's a good thing to pay it forward and remember how you felt at the beginning of your journey on it, wherever it is. So.
Well, and also, as I said, one I think it was Tuesday, was embrace the beginning of your journey. Take pictures of you at your job. Take pictures of you driving whatever car you're driving today, because when you're not driving that car, and you're driving whatever car is next for you that you want to drive, you can afford when you start making more money. You'll look back and that'll be part of your journey. That'll be part of the story. The story evolves, right? Right now, you may be in your, and I'm speaking to the audience, you may be in your kind of low moment. You may feel like the world's on top of you, but if you keep at it, one day you'll be on top of the world. And that will then be a part of kind of your elevation up, that heroic journey of accomplishing or winning or achieving. And so you're in that mindset, man, of adding value. And the only way to get paid, the only way to have people want to take your suggestions and recommendations, if you demonstrate you can actually help them first. And that seems to be the mindset that has clicked for you. You get that, and that's what you're focusing on doing. Give us one thing that's worked really well in your marketing, one thing that you've tried that didn't work so well.
I would say what's worked well for me is just trying to be myself and be honest. Try to follow. I was trying to follow some trends, or hey, this is what I've seen other people do, and kind of getting out of who I actually am. So I guess that's both what's worked and what's not. But just kind of going back to being true to myself, not trying to be, the guru of something that I'm not, but more I'm the nerd, and those people who are also like that will come around, and or maybe they think that they don't have anybody that will listen to them. So, but yeah, I've had a lot of people on my actual Facebook, asking about it because they know me personally, and they know that I'm not going to just go around promoting something that I don't believe in, and so that's kind of helped, and I've had some success with helping a few people get started, and already helping them change their mindset. Like, their life is one thing, but the mindset is the big thing. Is just getting out of that grind, and that I have to do this. This is the path that is already laid in front of me. Well, that's not true. So.
So have you used things like Star Wars or things like some of these topics that you are knowledgeable and passionate about, and tied that into products that you're promoting?
I got into crypto and everything, and trading during COVID, like a lot of people did. But I'm sure I guess I nerded out a lot more than the average person when they were investing or when crypto came around. So I do. I'm not. I'm still learning with the crypto area, but I have a lot of people coming to me for the advice on that aspect, or the gaming items and merchandise. Like, hey, what do you have? Or, I know you like computers, and what do you recommend? And that was another aha moment for me. As I was doing this every day at work or in my life anyways. Like, I bought something, I saved up and bought something, and I told people about it, and they're like, what do you mean you can do that with your computer? Okay, what'd you buy? And I tell them, and then they come to me a week later and they tell me that they bought the same thing that I told them about. And once I realized what affiliate marketing and all that stuff was, and I took, changed my mindset with it, I'm like, man, I need to figure this out, because I'm doing this every single day. I got a lot of people into trading and getting into crypto trading and everything, and I wasn't aware that there was a whole world online of affiliate marketing and stuff. So
yeah. Well, if you were to sum up the 15-day challenge and that experience in a sentence or two and how it's affected your life, what would you say?
That the information that is in the 15 days is huge, but I'll go back to the mindset that it changed for me. It is something that I mean, I can't even say thank you enough, because a lot of people have those blinders over their eyes, and just hearing your story and hearing from other people that have taken the course, their origin story of, coming from failure or the bottom to where they're at, that the course and the community is unparalleled. I haven't found or seen anything like it. So that's what keeps me driven, is just seeing everybody's posts on social media and how many responses you get from just saying, hey, I signed up, I'm making a change in my life, and you get hundreds and hundreds of people tell them, hell yeah, like that, congratulations, that's awesome, and let me know if you have any questions. Just seeing all the people commenting that, it's just, there's nothing like it.
Well, thanks for being a part of that, dude. I mean, as I say to most guests, like I can't do that alone. I'm not, I've become a small part of this larger community, and happy to be here just as much as you are, honestly, because I am learning every day from even somebody who just got started. I'm staying inspired myself by talking to you, and that is what I think makes what we're doing really cool, at least to me. So thanks for your time this morning. I'll let you go on with your day, and keep doing what you're doing, and showing your son as well that path, keeping rolling his eyes, and that'll let you know that he's listening, at least.
That's true.
And stay legendary, my brother. Come back and keep us posted on your journey, okay? And I appreciate your time, and thank you again for your service.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate your time. Thank you guys very much.
All right, Chris. See you, buddy. All right, guys, go and follow Chris, as I always say, on TikTok at Nerdspeed. Real simple, Nerdspeed. And think about how you can use maybe something that has always been a part of your personality, good or bad, right? Something that maybe you've looked at or has been something you've been made fun of, right? That didn't happen to be the case with Chris. He sort of always embraced that. But, for me, of course, drug addiction, homelessness was not something that I sort of, carried around as a patch of pride. But I do now, because I'm not there anymore. And part of that reason is because I've built a business that has allowed me and afforded me a lifestyle that I can live in a nice house, right? I can drive a nice car. I can spend more time with my family. And all of that stuff is now in the distant past, and it can be for you too. Doesn't feel like that at the beginning. It feels like you're in it, and you are. Embrace it. Take lots of pictures, right? Tell lots of stories about the small wins that you have as you're overcoming things in the daily journey every day. And before you know it, more space will get between you feeling like the world's on top of you to you feeling like you're on top of the world. All right. And we'll be back tomorrow for another episode. Get out of here. Be legendary. See you then.